Next question. We got one more question. So from Carol XCZC, she has asked, or he has asked, but I'm pretty sure it's a she. Do you have future plans to also work outside the country? So I thought that was quite an interesting question. I mean, I know we've touched on it a little bit before, but to work outside the country, Dorian, what are you saying?
By that question, just when I read it, when it said work with this outside the country, do you know what this was defining, or did it mean just our business models, or?
I think for us it could just be obviously in the property space, and outside the country. And for you, D, I know you've got plans to go into England, but let's just assume the UK is the
Yeah, no,
country.
yeah, that's so we. I'm a very ambitious person. I've got in my ideas list that we talked about in the last episode, and I've even put in the group chat to you guys. There's a housing crisis in other countries across the world, and as I said, there's no stupid thing to write down in your ideas book in your notebook. And in mine, I've got scaling into Australia, Canada, and other parts of Europe. I see nothing. Again, as I mentioned earlier, if my simple mind starts with if you can do it in one area, you can do it in other areas. Now I know that's controversial, but that's where my starting point is. If I was to scale internationally, I would probably remove the construction element. I would try to structure it with removing the construction element, and be relying on those local main contractors rather than building construction businesses in lots of areas. Purely because the cash flow risk is so high in the construction sector. Being in it and growing a business in it, you can clearly see that if you can do deals where you can forward sell. So I would only target areas where same model applies, basically, as Stuart mentioned in the last episode as well, following government money in other areas. What countries have housing crisis? What countries have government support in terms of financial backing as well? What countries have decently easier planning systems to work by and have decent land availability? And then I would same thing that we've done here. Understand that element, work out if there's a viable market there, then structure a local land team. It would all be land led, devising opportunities, working with the local best consultants I can find, and actually though working with contractors there on a construction base and having it forward sold, forward funded, back to back with the contractor. That's how I would look to do it if I was to scale. And then my other, which was talking about recurring revenue, we're in the early phase at the moment of launching a software, basically to help with construction. Bit our own one that we're building for our own company. We want to license it then to the entire construction sector, and that would be an international and global business. So we're using our own company as a guinea pig. So yeah, that's what I would do. And yeah, we are looking to do it. In short answer.
Nice, Stu. What about going outside the
Well, I
country?
mean, that would create more bandwidth. That's why I forgot. I mentioned the question I missed prior, because it would give you more bandwidth to look at and explore those things. I think I'm very conscious of not spreading too thin. And I think that would be something that you could look, and it's all again, that shiny penny syndrome we mentioned on the last episode. If an opportunity arose and I had the bandwidth, then of course, yeah, I'd look at doing anything anywhere. And hopefully if I was living in Monaco or Madeira or somewhere where it's a bit warmer, Portugal, Gibraltar, then I'd be looking for opportunities there, and I'd still want to have a base in the UK. But right now, I'm just interested in the UK property market's one of the best in the world. So why would I focus anywhere else if I'm in property?
Amen, Jack.
No, I mean, no, in what I currently do. I don't have any ambitions for our development company to go international. I don't have any ambitions for any of our businesses that we currently run to go international. What I would potentially take international is some form of fund or investment company. My dream, and we haven't actually touched on it to date, is to basically be in the M&A space. Like I think my dream is to have non-exec advisory position in a few businesses rolling. So I'm helping other businesses grow, scale, make decisions, do what they need to do, and invest in various businesses in their growth pattern. I believe that, it mind boggles me that a startup tech company can get funding that's a complete pissing in the wind, and a development business with second charges, grown track record for, like our business for 8 years, can't get a fucking penny that's unsecured. That mind boggles me. So supporting businesses where I think that makes sense. And that could or would be international, whether that's the funds come from an international source. I've obviously got ties to the USA because of my marriage, and I'd quite like to do some fundraising over there. They all believe that the pound is sound, so pulling funds over from the US property market, which is quite volatile and not that consistent, because obviously they don't have land shortages. They have other shortages, but they don't have land shortages because there's just acres and acres and hectares of space. So from a money perspective, yes, I would like to build some form of fund for property development, and also an investment vehicle that's more for businesses. Has always been my passion. So maybe one day in that space, but not for for me. I think that the markets that I operate in are big enough for me to do what I want to do. I know that Dorian's got bigger plans, but yeah, that's my view.
Nice.
I still won't be scaling into Canada anytime soon, mind. They're like blue sky picture. I just write them down. I got investment funds down as well. I love it all. I love it all. But I know, like I said, shiny pen, you can't do it all. So I just write it down, and that gives me my fix, and I carry on focused on my key goal, which is kind of like what Stuart said. I know where I need to be in X years because I've got this milestone, and that's all I'm doing. That's all I'm focusing on. But like these backing things, once I get a bit more capital, a bit more reputation, more contacts. But ultimately, if you have some money yourself, but the biggest thing is contacts, being in the space and building key contacts. Like Jack and Stu, I know, and same as you, Ryan, and myself, we're having meetings with high-profile people very frequently. The more that happens, it's a lot easier to make bigger waves and do bigger deals, bigger opportunities come your way, because this business is all about people. That is just what it is.
And the four of us, we're all up for taking a group fund. So if anyone's watching this and they've got 10 million quid, that's fixed 7%, we'll all back it and give you PGs, and we'll all tap into it. We're 20 million. We want 10 million each, really.
10?
Yeah.
10? More like 50.
50,
Yeah.
100.
Give you a bonus structure too. So
I'd say for Trafford, do you know what? I always wanted to do co-living schemes, like large. Look, I've done so many floor plans and 3D models of like what I'd want to do with people living in kind of like large HMO apartment hybrid, but where there's really nice facilities and it's geared towards like making the most of people's time and lifestyles, things like that. I know you guys would have seen different things like this before. But that is my plan with the Beaumont and Partners logo, that butterfly, like a symbol of freedom, symbol of new beginnings and things like that. I want to get to that point in the future. I've actually got a vision document for the company, which starts with HMOs, conveyor belts, and then small commercial to resis, conveyor belts, keep the two running in tandem, and then larger commercial to resis, and then even larger commercial to resis, and then tearing off of the smaller developments as we kind of like cascade through the pipeline, and then finishing with build to rents. And at the build to rent stage, because it's such a huge market in the UK, so much to go at, there's no point in going abroad for that model until we get to the build to rents. Then I'd like to have something on the coast in Italy and other things that are more just for fun and a bit of a brand play, kind of like the big hotel chains do. As time goes on, they can create that global awareness for their developments or for their service. But it's a long way in the future.